We are about to celebrate our 100th episode, and we want you there. Media Litter Sandwich, we are recording our 100th episode on July 21st, 2018 at Falling Down Beer Company in Warren, Michigan. The event starts around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's free. So come down, hang out. If you need more details, check out the website at MediaLitterSandwich.com. And if you want to help out, email us at podcast@MediaLitterSandwich.com.
Today on Media Litter Sandwich,
we talk about a military cartoon, something like that.
Well, first of all, Discharged is not a cartoon. It's an animated comedy, an adult animated comedy. So let's just set the record straight.
Welcome to Media Litter Sandwich. Media creators talking about creating media. I'm Toaden from Toaden.com. With me is Mark from
CrazyMark.com.
And you can now check us out on dvradio.net every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. if you want to listen recorded live. But the difference between that and listening through the podcast is you get to chat with us, which I think is pretty cool. And since we are now syndicated through veterans, doing veterans radio stuff, we found some other veterans that are doing some really interesting media type work, including hi there.
Hello.
Go ahead, introduce yourself, and tell us about your project.
Okay, so first I need to know, am I allowed to use profanity or no?
We prefer you not, but we do allow guests to if that's the best word.
It's not required, but I always have to ask because, messing around with DV radio, you just never know. So I'm like, okay. I am Jas Boothe. I'm a 17-year Army veteran. I am married to a Marine Corps veteran, and our oldest son serves in the Air Force. We also have an 8-year-old that's weighing his enlistment options. My entire military career, I was a human resources officer. I started off as an E4 truck driver and then went ROTC and transferred over to the officer corps because I didn't want to work for a living, obviously. So
what are you currently working on?
So I created my first animated project called Discharged, and it's basically if Family Guy and Full Metal Jacket had a baby that was discharged. So it's an animated comedy about 4 veteran friends that are navigating their next chapter, and they're the 4 most mishmack veterans ever. But, that's how the military is. We're a potpourri of a bunch of people. We're brothers and sisters, but it's just funny that we put them in a Hollywood setting after their transition, and now they're just pretty much running amok.
Yeah, I've seen some of the trailers, so the movie itself isn't out yet.
Well, we're actually in film festival rotation. So we went to Oakland International Film Festival where we won Best Pilot because it is a short film, but pilot format, because our ultimate goal is to produce a series and have it on either on streaming or network TV.
Now, do you have a website where people can go to check you all out?
Yes, you can go to dischargedcomedy.com. We're also on Facebook and Instagram.
Very good. Cool. I'm looking it up because somebody gave me a link to go look it up somewhere, and I ended up in a wrong web address. I forgot the Discharge Comedy. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm actually going to look it up.
He found a different type of discharge and ended up in a click hole.
Yeah.
So what program did you use to animate this?
I believe I'm not an animator. I just produced it, but I believe it was produced mainly on Toon Boom.
Okay. So, but you wrote and directed it, which
yes.
I've seen. You got some behind the scenes with a bunch of actors and, all the voice actors and everything. How was it getting everybody together?
Well, the clips that you see where we're in a room full of people, we just invited a bunch of people we didn't know because we wanted to get honest feedback. Because if you invite 20 of your friends, they'd be like, oh, that's like the greatest thing ever, when it sucks. So we just invited 20 people we didn't know. We were in North Carolina, where Michael Penny, the voice of Axel, lives. And it was weird because I put out this call and a bunch of white dudes with beards showed up. And I was like, this is going to be a tough crowd. But they got it. And, you know, everybody laughed and enjoyed it. So it just let me know I was on the right track. There were also civilians there. So it's not heavily written to the point where someone who had never served couldn't understand what we were talking about. But it was great having everybody in the room. And that's my first animated project. To get that feedback made me feel like I was trending in the right direction.
Now, with this cartoon, this animated feature putting together, how many people are you collabing with to make this thing happen?
Okay, so we work with one production company that helps us do like the editing, Essence cartoon, and the animator we had is a 19-year-old girl in Hungary.
All right.
Wow.
It's an international production.
How did you?
Yeah, the guy who did the backgrounds for me, he's out of Vietnam. The thing is, animation is very expensive, and everybody charges you triple, quadruple. I don't got that kind of money living off of VA disability pay, so yeah, I went abroad to get it done. So pretty much those are my three main people who did the production for me. And then we had there's four of us that are main actors. And there was one guy who did about 12 voices. So all of the extra voices being done is all one guy. And the one female outside of Marissa did all the female voices.
Well, so far,
a team of like 6 to 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was a paid project because you're paying the animators on this.
Oh, yeah. I have to pay the animators. You know, people, they love this, but they want to get paid. So, you know, I could. They're like, yeah, we're all about service members, and here's our rate. So, yeah, you have to pay to get it done. You know, animation is a very long and tedious, you know, project. We use traditional 2D, so it's, you know, frame by frame. It took the young lady who did it about 6 months to crank it out. And we were a little bit worried about the quality of the animation, but we're not selling animation. We're selling a story. And so from people looking at it from a production standpoint, they can always get better animators. And so we were sure to focus on the story and not just, you know, the greatest animation. But if you look at the earlier, you know, South Parks, Family Guys, and Simpsons, they don't look like they did. Now they all evolve. I mean, they evolved, but everyone's always was looking at the story. Nobody was like, oh my God, the animation could be better. They were like, I can't wait to see the next episode. So that's what we kind of laid at the end of it.
It's a pilot is what it is. And
Yes.
that's the purpose of the pilot.
Right.
And so then you're also looking to shop it around, maybe see if someone, a big studio will pick it up.
Exactly. So that's what we were doing with the pilot, and that's what we're hoping to give us some success at the film festivals.
Cool.
The next one will be at Gen Con, which is a Comic-Con style event in Indianapolis on August 4th. So
yeah, we know lots of people that will be at Gen Con.
Oh yeah.
Well, I won't be there this year, but I'm
neither.
Big shout out to all our Penguicon peeps that we know go to Gen Con. Same to all the Humacon peeps that go out there. I wonder if Turtle Trinkets is going to be there. I know that they do.
Okay,
some.
yeah. Dave from Turtle Trinkets. He posted recently, and he said that the last con he did will be the last one downriver for a very
Gen
long
Con's
time.
and not downriver.
I know Gen Con is out of state, so he's
Yeah.
going to be getting all the big cons now.
Yeah, he might. I don't know if he's going to be there. I don't know. Check out Turtle Trinkets to figure out where the hell Dave is.
Yes, Dave. Whoop whoop.
But yeah, we got we're over in Michigan, so we definitely know people that go over there for Gen Con. That's a big con. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if we can get anyone to dress up like any of the characters. I know somebody's dying to put on those silkies and dress like Axel. I just know someone. So everybody's that anxious to cut their hair and be bought like Major. So we'll probably get more Axels out of the group.
Mm-hmm. I'll just get an army of Axels. It's fine.
Right.
So, how many trailers are out there? Because I only saw like little clips online.
So there's a super trailer online. It's about 3.5 minutes long. Mm-hmm. It's a compilation of all the trailers that we've had cut up. The thing is with festival, you can't put too much out there because they're just enough to grab people's attention. But ultimately, we would love to put just a pilot up so people can see where we started from if we go somewhere. But while you're in festival mode, you can't put it out there because then it would disqualify you.
Yeah, not in the first year festival mode for sure. It depends on the level. Which we were just talking to another festival organizer about a half hour ago.
Yeah.
We were talking to a Trauma Dance Detroit organizer, Terrence, which I don't think they mind too much if it's out, but then again, it's a much smaller festival, and that's way more focused on your trauma audience. If you know anything about trauma, which is Toxic Avenger, Duke Nukem Higher, and all that really crazy stuff. So what made you want to do this story?
Well, I am very open about my battle with major depressive disorder, and I have a lot of sleepless nights, and I watch a lot of animation at night. And when I'm watching it, I'm like laughing. I'm in a good mood. I'm not thinking about, how bad the VA sucks or how bad my mental state or physical state is. And in that moment, I'm just having a great time. And so for me, it became a respite. And I said, well, I want to share this with other people, but I wanted to use veteran stories and animation, to tell the story and not just do something, that hadn't been done. Because the thing is, Hollywood is, we've seen enough war movies. They're probably working on their 30th World War II movie as we speak.
Only for the year. It's only 30th of this year.
Or it's, another documentary on PTSD. But our stories are either, heroes or suffering. And so I wanted to create a balance through animation to tell our stories, but not have it be so somber or super unrealistic. Because, the war movies, they tell one story, and it's usually the male story and the hyper-masculine male story. Well, we know everyone in the military ain't male and they damn sure ain't hyper-masculine. But, that's what seemed to sell. But I wanted anybody who's ever worn a uniform to be able to look at Discharged and be able to relate to one of the characters, which is why I made them, so diverse in genders and race and what they did in the military.
That movie they had last year, I believe, with the military woman with the military dog, how she was able to rescue it from being put down and bring into civilian life. That was an excellent movie in its own right.
Yeah, Megan Levy.
Yes.
But a lot of people hated on that movie. It's like when you do anything, it's a bunch of veterans want to attack it, but the one thing they can't attack is animation because it's all satire and funny.
Yeah.
The stories will be, based on, real veteran stories, but again, it will be told in the way that we relate to each other, in the military. So that's what's going to make it so funny. And then putting it in a Hollywood setting when everyone's all uppity,
all the dick and fart jokes. And,
Jesus is Hispanic, and he always gets HOA violations for parking on the grass. So that's how stereotypical we go,
Oh yeah, I know. At least one of our, I should say multiple of my Hispanic coworkers when I was in the Marines, they would be the ones that would would just put everyone into their car. Oh, you need a ride? Oh, we got room. There's space in the trunk. There's space behind the seat by this guy's legs. Put your legs up. And
Right.
just cram everybody in. It's like, well, this is a little stereotypical, and you just can't get any. Okay.
Right.
We need a ride.
Stories like that, Axel is like the patriotic wet dream. He's like guns, country and flag. That's all he's about. And, Major's just around waiting, to call out racism and sexism and anything stupid that anybody says. That's just like the whole purpose in life. And, Brandon, he's like a black guy trapped in a skinny white guy's body. He knows all the rap albums, but no black history, so he's that guy. And we all know someone like I grew up born and raised in Chicago, and I was born and raised in the projects. But when I got to the military, you would meet like, white dudes from like down south that was all about rap and stuff. But where I'm from, you didn't meet any white dudes who were about that. So it's like you go to the military and you also people these diverse backgrounds, which is particularly why I like the military, because, everybody doesn't look like you, everybody doesn't think like you, but you're there, for a common bond. And that's what we're trying to portray through our animation. No. And we all get on each other's nerves, and we're just all racist and sexist to each other. But then, at the end of the day.
But you could get away with way more in a cartoon than you could depicting it live action.
Exactly. I think that's why I think they tried Enlisted or something.
Enlisted, yeah.
But I didn't think it didn't go very far because, again, like when you're using realism, you can only go so far and do so much, especially when we're in uniform. So with us, there's no uniforms, so it's purely animation. And, the sky is the limit, with how aggressive you can be.
Now, this is supposed to cover all the characters have other than honorable discharges. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that. So, most veterans only serving 4 years and honorably discharged. Do you think that will be a little separate, or is that just something to up the characters?
The thing about them is they're human. Like I said, you're always seeing the hero story or the guy struggling story. You never really see about the people that are in between. And we're for people who are kind of in between. And it's not that they had horrible military careers. It was just one particular instance that happened that could change your life forever. So they all have things that happen. Like you can see a little bit about Major. She comes home from leave and catches her husband in a bed with a woman, and she just happens to be holding her gun, and it happens to go off a couple times and people die. So it's things like that, and I don't remember like at the beginning of around the start of the Iraq War, there were these soldiers that stationed at Bragg who had, wives that sent them Dear John letters, and they came home and killed their wives. So they went and, served honorably, had heroics overseas, but then came home and like snapped. So those are the stories that you don't usually hear about. And so we wanted to cross, the gambit on, things like someone has, had a great career, disagreed with their commander and punched them in the face. And then, that ruined their career. So it's to put, to show us in a human mode as opposed to on a pedestal, doing everything right. Because I think people sometimes forget we're human. And then when things happen, they're like, oh my God, what happened in military career? And you're like, hey, life happens to us all. PTSD happens and can change your trajectory. Jesus, for instance, I don't want to give away too much, but he was a drill sergeant on top of his drill sergeant game and went to Iraq. IED blew his leg off. Now he ends up homeless. That's how he meets Axel and Brandon. So it's those types of things, but he didn't want to leave the military and ultimately, got in trouble on his way out. So it's things like that happen. It's not that they were all doing something that was, mischievous, but, sometimes life hits you, you're not ready for it. And dealing with the other issues we have, things happen.
Now, you are primarily the writer for this, correct? The script writer?
Writer, director, and producer.
Okay. Yeah. You've got to gather up. So you're managing this whole gathering of collaborations. And how long has this been going on now? I've
been working on this for a little over 2 years.
Okay. So you have plenty of energy and spit and vinegar to keep it going for maybe another year, 2, 3. How much longer do you think you're going to roll with this?
Well, I'm thinking that the thing with Discharged is there's not anything like it. No one has ever thought to channel veteran stories using comedy and animation. So I think it will pick up very quick, once we're going through the festivals and getting some buzz. We won Best Pilot at the Hoboken International Film Festival, and as a first-time filmmaker, that was cool. But again, it was different. You saw a lot of people doing pilots, but they were realistic pilots, and they're, comedy. But at the end of the day, you can only do so much with, pilot episodes that kind of the same subject matter. And so, but I think the fact that it's so different is why it did so well. And I think, picking up some steam, going into more of the festivals, it just only takes one person to see it and get it to
Yeah. And that's a good thing, because I see as you keep rolling along with this and you pick up awards and recognition, it should be easy for you to start garnering sponsors for what you do.
Yeah, just keep gathering those little like salad head things.
Yeah. Laurels, the lovely laurels. Yeah.
Never knew what those were called. I never put them on any of my. I've done several films. I've never put them on any of my posters, any of my anything. I didn't. I figured people were collecting them like Pokemon. Like people would literally be jumping in every festival they can just to fill up a collage with them. Which you are not doing. You're picking and choosing good festivals that don't even want it out on a public right now.
So with anything dealing with Hollywood, a lot of the bigger festivals are always going to be political, and they want the best and the biggest stars. So if a star wrote a movie that sucked, they probably still pick them because, hey, it's Ben Affleck or whatever, so.
Right.
But that's why when you put in material, you have to put something that grabs their attention. Now, we probably would never make those top festivals, but like one in particular that we applied to called Series Fest, which is a huge festival. It's only been around 4 years, but it's huge because of the branding and the backing that it has. And they have like huge stars and like, is it Lady Antebellum? Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to, I don't know like all the rock groups, but like they headline there. So like it's a huge festival. And we didn't make it into the screening, but we're invited to pitch directly to networks. So it's just like, I'll take that. So we were really impressed. Like I said, it could have been an animation that kicked us out because it wasn't, it ain't Disney or Pixar, but the story captured them and they want to see us in person and have us pitch it. So, it's things like that still happen. Even though you might not make it, there might be another connection that comes out of it based on who sees it.
Yeah, it's important to mention that there are way more festivals than what people think of. I know there's a lot of people like, we have to do our first run at Sundance or here or there. Well, after you do your first run, wherever that may be, for me, I still usually just put, whatever, it doesn't matter. Afterwards, you can go so many other places. There's always another festival. There's always, it's, like you're going to Gen Con, and there's a billion Comic Cons that do some great movie stuff. I know we've been shown in, or at least I've had movies shown in Indiana Comic Con, Tampa Comic Con, and of course a ton of volunteer stuff. There's always another festival. Trauma Dance. What's that festival that's going in Lincoln Park? We just talked to the organizer this weekend.
It's some sort of Downriver Film Festival in November.
We'll advertise that later. We'll have him on the show in a couple of weeks, I'm sure. It's film festival season, in case anyone didn't realize it. Film festival season overlaps with convention season. That's why we don't sleep anymore.
Now, going back to your cartoons and animation, animation, not cartoons. Well, okay.
Same thing.
What inspired you? How would you say, what creator, as far as an animator, when you were thinking about, okay, I want my animation, my story to look like this, what animators did you turn to for their technique, for their style?
I would say my biggest influence is Seth MacFarlane.
Oh, yeah.
Is a guide in animation, and I saw his earlier stuff, and like I say, look at this animation, you really didn't care because it was a story, and there's what people were drawn to. And so when I was putting everything together, I'm like, it's my story that I have to sell. Animation can always get better, but Family Guy got canceled early on, but then it was picking up so much momentum in syndication. People were like, oh wait, this is actually something great, and then he's been rolling for years. But yeah, he was definitely my biggest influence.
Right on. Any other animators? Any other creators?
I can't think of is it Seth Green, the guy who does Robot Chicken?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
He's pretty good. And then the guy who did The Simpsons, Matt Groening.
Yes, Matt Groening, yes.
Oh, yeah. Groening, yeah, him. Yeah, so, me, I watch Disney and things like that. This is definitely not Disney genre. We all grew up on Bugs Bunny, and we all knew like Bugs Bunny was a little bit flamboyant. It's amazing, like watching cartoons now as an adult, and you're like, wow, they used to do some really gay stuff in animation back when we were kids, but we never knew what they were doing. But it was just,
all the political overtones that they had in their cartoons as well.
It's funny because I didn't realize how much I learned off of cartoons, especially even the Looney Tunes ones.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I didn't realize I was doing some kind of trivia thing. Someone was asking about planes. Like, oh, that's this. And I was like, how do I know that? Oh, Bugs Bunny, like said it when he was riding one of these. And how did I know all this? I learned from watching cartoons?
Bugs Bunny taught me.
How did that happen?
When I first watched Bugs Bunny as an adult, I was like, man, that dude is like gay. He's always in drag and kissing people. I'm like, how did I miss this as a child? But as a child, you're not looking at it. But, they were edgy back then. But, you didn't know it as a kid. It was just, oh, it's funny. Kiss the guy in the mouth or whatever. But, Bugs Bunny. Same thing with like Bert and Ernie. I'm still waiting for them to come out. It's okay, guys. We're, it's inclusive. It's all love, but
And the controversy still goes on with those two.
Right.
It never ends.
Now they're saying they're from outer space, but wait a minute. No, they're asexual. No, they're this. There's something. They're pan. Was it pan? Pots and pan.
Sexuals anymore. Just be whatever you want. Sexual.
I'm gonna be skillet sexual.
But yeah, in the military, you see, it seems like you look around and they're like, well, that looks like a TV show right there, just because these guys are so bored, they're doing really dumb stuff. And is that part of the foundation of making it a cartoon, just because people wouldn't believe that there's things like this out there?
Oh, yeah. So, I think some people are going to be reconsidering their thank yous for their services and their handshakes once But that culture of sarcasm and being borderline inappropriate is how you got through the tough times.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's pretty much how we survived, and we still have that same level of camaraderie and inappropriateness that some people frown on. Once we get out the military, but it stays with us. We're not trained from basic training. Nobody's, giving you candy or giving you ice cream when you miss your target. They're in your face. They're down your throat. They make you regret it. So you never want to miss your target again. That's how we're trained. When you mess up, you're not told, hey, try it again. You're told to un-F yourself and all those types of things. So the people that don't understand why we're so crude, but that's how you train fighters. You make them tough. You push them to their limits. And, that's just the beauty of it.
Right on. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, you missed that target. Oh, have some ice cream. Well, no. That target could be somebody else with a gun. And if you miss them, they're going to hit you.
Now I want ice cream.
Kill you and your buddy if you don't kill them. But, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll buy me ice cream. I don't know. Oh man!
So we're listening to all these great stories of war and great Ulysses. But back to your cartoon, your animation. Oh wow! In what place do these stories take place?
So the story takes place, just as they're moving to Hollywood. So Axel, they were all unemployed and struggling, and Axel lands a job as a multi-million-dollar stuntman. And instead of hiring Hollywood people, he hires his team.
Okay.
Which I voice. She's his bodyguard. Jesus is his manager, and Brandon, the Air Force guy, is his personal assistant. And so it starts off with them entering their new mansion with the whole neighborhood standing outside, yay, with the parade and everything. And they go in their house and close the door because veterans don't like all that pomp and circumstance. And, from there, it has flashbacks of, how they met and like the things that they went through. Because people always want to know, well, why would all 40 people be living in the house? Like, how do they meet? So that kind of like sets the tone to get that out of the way, so people can get that out of their minds and then move forward with the rest of the series.
It's kind of like a dysfunctional veterans version of Entourage.
Yes. And, so they're all around these Hollywood people who have no clue, about service, but they're, always rallying around the flag. And so these veterans are giving them a dose of the good, the bad, and the ugly side of patriotism.
Why Hollywood?
Because, people say, we have such a, tough transition back into civilian life. Imagine what that transition would be like if they're in Hollywood, with all these people who are rich and famous, throw money at everything, and us being a very, frugal, type people. And also, we wanted to put them in like a most extreme environment of where everything could go wrong. Like, would be just the best place. So, we just wanted to make something different, but, you can just tell from, once you see it, how they relate to some of those people. And, sometimes the people, they're being offensive to you, but they don't know they're being offensive to you. But they think they're saying something like really cool because people watch TV and play Call of Duty and think, like that's what the military is like. And it's not.
Have you ever worked in Hollywood or lived in California?
I've never lived in Hollywood. I was a subject in a documentary called Served Like a Girl that came out last year, that was picked up and distributed, and that did really well. And so I had a connection of Hollywood through that documentary. And I still keep in close contact with those people. And so I was able to, I listened and just, observed the entire time I was going through that, because, you see how fast, when the documentary is rolling, you put up on the pedestal and everybody's like, oh, great. And then, once the documentary is done, you like kind of go back into your hole. But that's just the nature of the beast. So.
Great talking to you. Now get the hell out of my studio. I got 5 more people outside. Grab some ice cream on your way out. Take it easy.
But it's all about, when you're going through those situations, you have to make connections, because, at that point you're that big thing. You're hot, then once the next big thing comes along, you're like their last project. So the thing is to, always network. And when we were talking about, I watched 1517 to Paris the other day, and oh my God, I at least, I think it's like a 90-minute movie, but I need like 60 minutes of my life back watching it.
Oh.
Because the movie is like...
That's that true story using the people who are really involved on the railway, on the commuter.
Right. Yeah, that's what it's about when they were in Paris. They were on the train, those three friends. And so, like, I'm watching that, and it was like one scene where I think he forgot his rucksack or something. And so they turned like the whole Humvee around, like the whole convoy around to go get his rucksack back in some Iraqi town. And I was like, that would never happen.
No.
It was the best part of the movie is actually like the train part. And so, but it was just like, you look at their earlier lives and things like that, but it wasn't a whole lot of what we do in the military imparted into the story. And that's why it kind of like lost me, because I think they were trying to sanitize it a bit. But I'm like, no, if you're going to use the real people, like they showed one guy struggling with weight, which some of us have. And, that's how he joined the Air Force. But he didn't fit in anywhere else. And then, he ended up like a hero. So it was just like the movie didn't really, but it was a great honor for what they did. But it's like, when dealing with veteran stories, I think that, you have to tell the parts of the stories that you're afraid for people like to hear, because it's like real.
Yeah, and I've heard it said quite a few times where it's like, why do veterans always have to be serious? Why did the soldier or whoever, why do they always have to be serious in every single movie? Why can't we get like that scene where they're in the porta shitter drawing the penis? Because that's totally that's a big part of it too.
And that's why movies like
or the little part
Jacket work. You know, we in the Army now, that's why they work, because the satire is really not that much satire. You know, so it's just like, yeah, people actually do that. And that's why it's funny, and that's why those things work, because we don't always want to be reminded about the serious and the war and the explosion and those types of things. But, you know, some people love it who've never lived it, and it's exciting to them, but it's for you, it's just like, I don't want to see that stuff, you know. So we're steering clear from it. We're telling the stories, but again, we're not making it so somber to the point where you're just like, oh my God, you know, we're not trying to send anybody back in a negative place. We're trying to take it to a positive space.
What do you think's the difference using characters that are veterans versus if you use characters that were active and that were currently in the military?
You know, well, first I was shopping around, and I'm like, again, I'm a brand new director, and I'm shopping around for voices, because basically what you're looking for is voices. And so I said, well, you know, let me reach out to this voiceover company. And so you send them, you know, little snippets, and they come back with voices. The thing about like people who are civilians, they think like all military dudes. Like we said, hey, here's a few lines for a Marine, and everyone that sent back a voice sound like a douchebag. So for some reason, civilians think Marines sound like douchebags. Military characters have that, you know, it was just like, hi, I'm Axel. And I'm like, who talks like that?
You know, I think society's really been, you know, whitewashed by G.I. Joe. I mean, somebody's going to kill me for saying that. But once that happened, all of a sudden, it's like, well, everybody's like G.I. Joe. And that's not the case.
Major Chip Hazard. Like, who talks like that, you know?
Well, I'm sure a few people think I sound like a douche nozzle, so, I mean...
You sound like a Toaden.
So I met Penny because he said, hey, I'm a voiceover actor, the guy who does Axel. And he's like, I'm a Marine. Can I send you some clips? And I was like, sure. And he sent it to me. I was like, wow. And I was like, so, like, you know, how did you start doing voiceovers? Like, you know, how do you do this voice? He's like, this is my normal voice. And you listen to him, and like, you know, they just match the characters. But like the wildest thing is like Axel actually looks like this guy. If you see Penny in real life with the big beard and everything, like, and I said, you know what, we can do this, because again, it's animation, you know, so you never know what people look like behind the scenes. Like, many people don't know that Cleveland is voiced by a white guy from the Cleveland Brown show from Family Guy. Like, many people don't know that, but he is. But again, it's not always, you know, it's the voice that matches, and not always what the person looks like behind the voice.
Yeah, there was some controversy at that, actually. There was actually quite a few people upset when they found that out.
I was just like, man, that's cool. You know, it's a job like any other job, you know, but I was just like, I was impressed.
Yeah.
You know?
A lot of people forget the part about voice acting where you have to act.
Right.
And you have to do it all with your voice versus being able to rely on your eyes and body movement. You have to become that character in just your voice.
Yeah, and then when you're in the studio, like, you have to do the movement and motions, and like you're doing everything as you're actually doing it. And then reference the other characters. I knew Earl from a mutual friend. And so Earl's the guy who voices Brandon. And, you know, Earl in real life is a hard-charging, you know, combat, you know, wounded veteran, you know, who is a grunt, and he voices an Air Force code. But if you would never look at Earl and think that's his voice because of everything that he does. He has a very, like, nerdy type sounding voice, you know, he's a trained killer. And I was like, yeah, you're going to be Brandon, you know. And so you just look for different things, different people, but also the other connection with Earl is, you know, he lost his brother, his twin brother, and a fellow soldier to suicide. And again, you know, like, mental health was one of the reasons why I started this. And so I really wanted him to be part of the project, because I know personally resonate with him, you know, why I decided to do it. And Jesus is voiced by Jonathan Lopez. He's a disabled veteran, but he was wounded in a car accident and caused him to have to stop his military career. He lost one of his arms, but he's our Jesus. And, you know, he has that, you know, super thick Hispanic accent, and it just meshes, and it just, everybody just fit in, you know, like a round peg. So.
Cool. Excellent. It sounds like you got all your characters together. Speaking back of what, you know, fitting the person and the character and the personality of the speech with the character that you've drawn, you know, I would have never guessed it would have been John Cena doing the pistachio elephant. So, you know.
That was John Cena?
Yeah, that's John Cena.
Oh, okay.
He also voiced Ferdinand.
He did. You know what? I'm pretty sure people are going to hate me, but like, I don't think John Cena is an awesome actor.
Maybe because you've only seen him in the flesh in maybe one or two movies. Everything else was the voice.
I've seen The Marine. I totally agree with you.
He's a super wrestler, and he does really good in that arena. But like, I was really excited they were making a Bumblebee movie, and then I saw John Cena was in it, and my enthusiasm plummeted.
I don't drink much anymore, but when I watched The Marine, which I was way late on that boat, I only watched it a couple weeks ago. I think I started drinking again. Well, I love him. I love the True Grit reality show, though. I loved him in the True Grit reality show where he was hosting.
Oh, you're talking about American Grit.
American Grit, that's it. True Grit was a good movie. I meant the stupid reality show.
He was great in American Grit because he wasn't acting.
It's like, don't act, don't memorize, just do your thing.
Just
you know?
be yourself.
Yeah, just be yourself. And oh wait, we have a voice acting role for you. You're going to voice a bull who likes to smell flowers. Oh, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah. I'm just sorry, but when it comes to like action, you know, The Rock is he's a way better action guy than John Cena.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, The Rock is just.
He did Moana and crushed it. Like, you know, he was like, man, this guy's a great animated character too. Like, I don't know.
Everyone loves The Rock. He's one of those guys. If you want to run for any political position, he'll make it just because everyone loves him.
Yeah, but he's also, you know, he's a great actor too. Like, he can actually act.
Absolutely.
I wonder when The Rock manages to get sleep. You know, because he's doing so many things.
No, right.
Yeah.
I heard when he does sleep, he goes down like a rock. That was bad.
All right. Pistachio.
But everyone will know when he's awake and he's making breakfast, because you could just smell what the Rock's cooking.
Don't you smell what the Rock's cooking?
What does John Cena do? What does this mean?
That means you can't see him.
He's like 6'5", 250.
It's like
you only see you, dude.
Can't see me.
Oh! I thought of another movie John Cena was in. He was halfway decent in Scooby-Doo, a wrestling movie. He was
Scooby-Doo wrestling movie.
Yeah, it took place WWE. Huh?
I refuse to watch. I've seen it like all the time on Netflix, but I refuse to watch it with my son because I can't have John Cena ruining Scooby-Doo for me. I just.
I'm not going to say anything bad about the guy, you know, especially when his one arm, he has more circumference on one arm than both of my legs put together, you know.
Have you seen my husband?
No.
He would bitch slap John Cena, so I'm not afraid of him. I actually have a real Marine in my house, so John Cena would never show up to my door and leave.
So that does it, John Cena. You made that Marine movie, and that was it. You know, you've got to do something else to redemption for yourself. So somehow, some way, you've got to, you know, come up with another movie to somehow blank out the memory of the Marine.
Right.
Did they make a sequel to that?
He has a huge fan base. Really nice person, but just acting, meh.
And maybe it was The Submarine.
I want a Submariner movie. Does that count?
Oh, so much hate. I'm gonna get so much hate from John Cena fans now.
They're trying to work on. Actually, they've got all the rights they have to work on with the Submariner because his character Prince Namor, he has it's so entrenched into when Marvel sold off the characters to different movie studios that Disney and Marvel have been trying so hard over the past 10 years to try to bring back the characters that Marvel sold off on the 80s.
Oh, that's right, because he was for a while he was primarily known as a Fantastic Four character.
Yeah, well,
but I thought he predated that. Maybe he didn't.
Oh yeah, Submariner was actually the first comic book character
to fly. I said it. I said it before you did. Haha.
Yes, well,
and Namor, not Namor. Or is it? Wait, is it Namor or Namor?
Namor. Backwards, it's Roman.
I'm sorry, we're just a bunch of comic book geeks.
Prince Namor, yeah.
That's cool.
So it's going to be a while before we see a Submariner movie.
Yeah.
Just like it's going to be a while before we see a Solomon Grundy movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or that we have, John Cena as Solomon Grundy. You know?
Oh, that way we could kill him, bring him back, because we do like him, and then we'll kill him again. And then Monday comes, and
I'm ruining classics. Yeah.
So, how would you describe the cartoon to civilians that know nothing about the military?
So you would say, well, our tagline is a mismatched quartet of not so honorably discharged veterans unleash the good, the bad, and the dark side of patriotism on Hollywood.
Wow. You know what? I'm going to congratulate you on saying that and not twisting up the words.
Wow.
I think I would physically trip trying to say that line.
You said it like a million times. You kind of get it. But no, it's sharing veteran stories using comedy and animation. So there are some serious tones to it, but most of it's probably 90% silly and 10% serious. But it puts us in a human light, with our mistakes and our flaws, and not just glorifying us because we wore a uniform. So.
And where can people find more information about this?
So again, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. You can also go to www.dischargedcomedy.com.
And Mark, do you have any more questions?
Yeah. Will any of your characters be riding around on motorcycles?
They have one monster truck. So
right on.
That's what they drive around in. Like the series is, still so young. But they all show up together, so that's their only vehicle. But, as Axel gets, more prestigious out in Hollywood, maybe they'll branch off and, buy their own cars and stuff. But they just have that one vehicle of which Jesus likes to park in the grass.
Right on.
Okay. All right, Mark, where can people find you?
CrazyMark.com.
And, of course, I'm Toaden from Toaden.com and MediaLitterSandwich.com. You can find the podcast, the audio version, on all your favorite podcast apps. If we're not on there, let us know so we can try to get ourselves on there. But I just saw a whole list of a bunch of podcast apps the other day, and I checked every single one, and we were on all of them except for one of them that was a network and not an actual podcast app. So, we're on a ton of them. And if you want to listen to us and participate in the conversation, you go to our Facebook group, Media Litter Sandwich. We have a Facebook group. We totally talk to everyone, and people can self-promote as well, self-promote their own projects, or you could go over dvradio.net. And Tuesday nights, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time zone. On Tuesdays, you can participate in our chat room and just check out all the other shows on DV Radio. Their podcasts are fantastic. Several other shows are on podcasts. You got Barracks Talk, you got Disgruntled Discussions, you got PTS Dogs, so many great shows. Just go check out dvradio.net. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Huge shout out to Turtle Trinkets, who's our sponsor again today, and we do accept sponsorships. If you're curious, email us at... Did you just do the money signal? Seriously? Oh, come on. You can email us at podcast@MediaLitterSandwich.com. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed our discussion. Check out the website. We should have information on where we'll be recording our 100th episode up real soon. It's probably already up on the website. Bet you 5 cents that's already up there. And may the algorithms be in your favor.